inspire, empower, grab your girls and soar a little higher, unlock the fire in you, cause real women don't bitch, no, real women don't, 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 real women don't bitch.
Hey, thank you for joining me on the Real Women Don't Bitch podcast. This is your proud host, August Crenshaw, aka Mrs. Raw, Real, and Relentless. I am the #1 advanced mental conditioning specialist for entrepreneurs because building mental muscle is necessary in order to implement successful business strategies. This show has been created for the woman who is not excuse-driven and needs help building a profitable business. I will be interviewing women from various fields who are willing to break the silence on struggles that specifically affect female entrepreneurs. Welcome to a show where I and guest speakers from time to time share our methods that help us beast our business no matter what is going on in our lives. Whether you are an online or brick and mortar business owner, this show is for you. We will hit every angle, personal, professional, and spiritual. Why? Because on any given day, you get hit with shit from a scenario involving one, more, or perhaps all of the above. It all impacts you and your mindset towards your business. I have made it my personal mission to provide a space where we dive deep into the BS we face on a day-to-day basis. Hey ladies, what's going on? What kind of podcast would this be if we didn't have the hard conversations, right? Today, we're going to talk about something that I know you all can't stand, and that is when people do not pay you. Now, I'm going to be very honest with you. In 20 years of being a cosmetologist, I literally only had one client who did not pay me $20 that they owed me. They had their hairdo was $120. They only had $100 and they stiffed me for the $20. And that is the worst experience that I've had. But I'm going to be real honest with you. Getting into the online arena, as thorough as I am, as inquisitive as I am, every once in a while, I've had to deal with the unsightly issue of someone not being able to pay me. And I do have my contracts written in such a fashion that I am protected. But let's talk about the emotional baggage that comes with this and what it looks like with dealing with an issue of not receiving payment from a client and how should you respond to it. And I'm going to give you 2 different scenarios. Of course, there'll be some other ones that could be in the middle of all of this. But I want to give you a ballpark on different ways that I handle situations, and I want you to take things into consideration. Matter of fact, I may give you 3. Now, one of the things that I did is I hired a friend. One of the things that I did is I coached a friend. And when I coached this friend, it was understood that I would not allow those boundaries to be crossed. She always used to say, oh, I want you to coach me so bad, but I don't want to ever feel like I am disrespecting you by crossing the line. And when we are supposed to be having girlfriend moments versus coaching moments, I don't want that to get distorted. And I said, you don't have to worry about it. I'm in complete control of what I do. And when we started this relationship, one of the things that she did is she missed her first payment. Now, mind you, when a person has a payment that's due, I don't go crazy. I gave her a couple of days. After a couple of days, I didn't receive the payment. I sent her a reminder. Well, after the reminder, I still didn't get the payment. I think she got up to 5 days. And then I finally sent a message that said, hey, and I reminded her. This is all girlfriend stuff aside. This is strictly professional. You have a balance that is due, and I need to know if you're going to remedy that balance immediately or what is your intention or your promise to pay? I had to turn into a bill collector. It doesn't matter how close you are to someone. As a matter of fact, the closeness is part of the reason why you should jump into things more expediently so people don't get it twisted that this is business, not personal. And what happens with most of you is you don't do something because you hate the way you felt when it was done to you. You know, when you think about any collection agency that has called you and can I speak to such and such and when you gonna resolve this bill and give us our money now, the ideal of collections doesn't sound or feel good. However, if you don't put some fire under people's feet, it's a guarantee that you won't get your money. If you allow people to feel like they can put you on the back burner, they will. If you put emphasis on the fact that they lose their membership status, their contract could be canceled, things of that nature, then you put much greater fire under people's feet to make sure they honor that document that they signed with you. And you guys know that if you're doing verbal agreements, you know how I feel against that. So that's one scenario. And she was late with the second payment as well. And I just shook my head because it's funny because after she stopped working with me, someone owed her some money. She's like, you're not going to believe this. And she was like, well, I'm out with my kids and, you know, I'll get to that tomorrow. And it's like, woman, you owe me now. And I didn't even have it in me. I just sat there and said, really? You didn't pay me on time. So what makes you think that someone should pay you on time? But that's neither here nor there. Here's another scenario. I worked with another woman, had a very amazing experience with her, but unfortunately, some really, really hard times befell her. And yeah, you know, I could have still been like, you need to trust the universe and honor your investment, and you need to do this and you need to do that. But my heart felt compelled to say, I'll release you from the contract. And I released her from the contract, and we discussed the potential of her coming back, what that looked like with her receiving the grandfather raise, how long would I allow her to get herself back on her feet in order to be able to do that. But here's one thing about this woman. She was full of integrity. She was keeping me abreast of what was going on from the beginning. I knew what her situation was like, and things just weren't going to work out. And I said, you know what? The last thing you need right now is another layer of stress. And we worked with each other for a substantial period of time. And I told her, I said, you know, coaching is a very valuable thing to have. But even though you won't be working with me for a season, you have been equipped with more than the average person, and you are going to be okay. You are literally going to be okay. That's scenario number 2. Scenario number 3. I had a total badass come to me. I want to do this. I want to do this. I heard about you. I watched you. I listened to all your podcasts. I talked to one of your clients. You got it going on. I want to do this. I want to do that. And I'm ready to jump. And I'm like, oh, do you really? Now, let me paint this picture for you a little bit better. I really shouldn't say she was ready to jump. She hesitated. And in any sales call, I would say, well, what's stopping you from moving forward now? And she was very nervous. And she was like, well, I don't pay anybody this kind of money. That's a nice amount. And I was like, okay, well, is it the amount and you're not used to paying somebody? Or is it the fact that you're afraid that you won't be able to recoup the investment? And her mouth, she had a mouthpiece on her. She was like, baby, I done sold everything from A to Z. I could sell anything. I'll be able to get the money. I'm just nervous because I've never paid someone this much money before. And she even questioned whether or not I was going to see her enough. Well, I'm looking at the contract and how much you want to charge me and how many times you're going to see me. And I believe that I'm going to need more time. Needless to say, this woman put her money not where her mouth was, but she just put her money up. She didn't honor her schedule. She didn't make sure that she kept up with things. And I told her, hey, you know, this is not what I'm in the business of. I'm not in the business of taking people's money. I get joy out of getting clients results. And I'm like, you know, I literally could just let you go and release you from your contract. But she had also told me that she knew that it was her fault that she messed up the first month and that she promised me that she would give me my payment for the second month. She asked if she could change the date. I told her I would honor that. She said, please, please, please don't let me go. I really want to work with you. I want to get this right. If this is not going to work out this time, then maybe then we can discuss me leaving. Well, I need you to know that that woman in this scenario, she never paid me. She sent a email to me asking me to forgive it, to let it go. And I'm like, in your line of work, you deal with people and integrity issues all the time. You help them get back right in certain situations. You never said that the money was the issue. You said the time was the issue. And mind you, even though she asked to adjust the date, I continue to serve. With this woman in particular, I did tell her that I'm going to enforce her contract unless she at least pays me for the month that she's owed. Now, mind you, I literally could go for the full amount. But I'm like, no, I still served you and I was there and I dealt with all of your craziness. And if you have any kind of honor, then you will set up some kind of payment arrangement with me to honor that. You at least honor that payment, allow your word to be your bond, because that's the kind of world that I come from. I'm 42. I don't do this bullshit. Say something means something else. No means yes means no. I come from the era where your word is your bond. And so you have 3 different scenarios. One where I came and went after a person for the money they paid. Another scenario where a person just really had a situation where I was like, hey, we can pause and we can come back. And a third person who asked for a pause. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to give you that, but I will still extend some level of mercy. What does this entire podcast have to do with what do you do when people don't pay you? I don't know. But what I do know is that you need to show up as a CEO. You need to show up as a boss. You need to make some decisions and you need to follow the proper channels to get whatever it is that you need to get done. Whether that's you showing that you've went after the payments, whether that means that you're going to have to send out certified letters, whether you will or will not have to get an attorney to enforce you getting your money back. Whether that means you go to small claims court, whether you forgive and say to hell with it and you let the client go, whether you work with them with some kind of payment arrangements. But what you definitely need to do is you need to make sure that you are showing up as the boss. Have your contracts in order so that when people sign to work with you, they understand what the potential repercussions are if they don't. Now, what I wouldn't do is I wouldn't lose any sleep over these people. And what I wouldn't do is I wouldn't waste my time getting stressed or frustrated about these individuals. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep making sure you have your money coming in so that you're never totally dependent upon or relying upon one client in particular, and allow karma to do the rest of what it does, because what goes around definitely comes around. And if you've been building your business properly, when things like this happen, it won't shake what you have going on. Of course, it won't feel good. Maybe you might experience a little bit of stress and like, oh my God, there goes $1,000 or $2,000, $5,000, $6,000, a few hundred. It depends on where you are in your business. But nevertheless, it won't stop you from moving forward. And when I said what I said about karma, please, I don't want any of you to be like, oh my God, well, if I get a client that can't pay me, what does that mean? Did I do something wrong? Don't be in a spirit of condemnation, because I can honestly tell you, out of all of the coaches that I have ever worked with, it has been my layer of integrity to make sure that I've taken care of paying them and getting their money. You guys remember that one place I told you about? I signed up for, oh God, that mastermind, and I still have the emails to this day. I was like, okay, I got another credit card in the mail. I'm gonna be driving for Uber. I don't care what I gotta do. I'm gonna pay you your money. And they were just like, August, we gonna let you go. We gonna let you go, and you don't owe us any more money. And that was a blessing for me, but my heart was always in honoring the debt in which I had acquired. Okay, so someone coming to you and not acting right, sometimes it's about the opportunity for you to just be the person that you are, to offer a teachable moment. If it keeps on coming at you, then yeah, you do need to look at yourself. If you keep on getting people that play you and don't want to pay you, then you literally may need to go back and say, okay, what kind of people am I talking to? What kind of persona am I giving off about my money? How am I looking like a pushover and things of that nature? That's something that's completely different. We're talking about a thorough analysis and what do you do when it comes to the money, because the money conversations are going to come up. And I talk to people all the time about how important it is to thoroughly talk about money in the sales conversation so that you don't feel uncomfortable talking about money when it comes to stuff like this, because it will happen. People will test you. They will try you. Okay? Well, that's all I have to say about that. That's your nugget for today. I would love to hear your guys' feedback. I don't know which platform you're listening on, but have you dealt with this? Or what do you have in place to deal with it? How do you envision yourself doing that? And just share, right? Whether you're on Facebook, iTunes, some of you tune in on SoundCloud. Thank you guys for all of the love there. I see you guys in so many different places. I would really love to hear your feedback about this. In the meantime and in between time, get out there and slay your goals and get paid, baby. Get it done. All right, deuces. Thank you for joining me today. Remember to cultivate a mindset that is biased towards taking action. No bitching, whining, or complaining. Here, our mantra is, real women don't bitch, we get shit done. See you next week as I continue to bring you what you need to keep your head in the game and beast your business. Don't forget to hit subscribe and leave us a 5-star review. Would you like a specific topic covered? Have a question you would like answered live? Then head on over to realwomendon'tbitchpodcast.com. Subscribe to my email list, hit me up, and I got you. Interested in being a guest speaker? You walk the walk? Then you can sign up on the website too. This is your #1 advanced mental conditioning specialist for entrepreneurs, Mrs. Raw, Real, and Relentless. Signing out. Deuces.
Inspire, empower, grab your girls and soar a little higher. Unlock the fire in you.